I always wanted to be in the movies. I guess you could call me a real romantic. Yeah, I had a lot of dreams. By the time I met Selby Wall, all I wanted was a beer. Get your hands up, or you piece of shit! Cheers. I met a friend.
Hope it's not like the last guy who almost trampled you half to death.
Are you a prostitute? Ew.
I loved her.
I thought you didn't like girls.
I like you. And I believed in her. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You'll never meet someone like me again.
Go! You can take care of me, right?
I've been hooking since I was 13, man. The truth is, I don't even mind. I'm trying to clean my life up here, you know, go straight. This is big.
Where'd you get this car?
I just borrowed it. You want some money?
Oh my God, are you serious?
It was fine, because I knew I was coming home to you. Let's go, Selby, now.
Who killed that man?
I've done everything in the whole wide world, hoping that you'd never have to know.
You can't kill people.
Says who? I'm good with the Lord. I didn't want to die thinking that maybe he could have loved me. I'm not a bad person. I'm a real good person.
In Florida, opening arguments today in the trial of a defendant the FBI calls a first-of-a-kind serial killer. The accused is a woman. The case of the alleged damsel of death.
Pictures up, guys. Lock it up. Here we go. Okay. Quiet, please. Here we go. Pictures up. That's our start. I am as well. Let's roll down. Here we go. Margaret. Here we go, and action.
Court is adjourned.
Thank you, Judge. May you rot in hell, sending a raped woman to death! Scumbags of America.
Monster is the story of a person crossing from one side to the other of what they're willing to do to survive. And in this case, it happens to be from good to evil.
Okay. Representing that to people in a real way, not a woe is me, poor street hooker, never had a chance, heart of gold bullshit. Like actually showing
You should hang slightly behind.
that people don't have a chance except for to become a monster, and that's it.
Yeah.
Truly portraying that is something I believe in very much.
Monday, Aileen Wuornos was convicted of robbing and killing a 51-year-old businessman. She has admitted killing 7 men who she says had picked her up as a prostitute, but she maintains she killed all the men in self-defense.
Everybody wanted to think of her as this monster. I think so few people knew what life she really had, what had led up to her being that got her into the position.
One of the country's first female serial killers, Aileen Wuornos, is to be executed this morning. The former prostitute was convicted 10 years ago.
Angry emotion, Charlize.
All right, here we go. Let's roll sound.
The hardest thing about going through real tragedy is that bad things happen, and that's it.
Here we go, and action.
The only thing that I can hope to do is show what you learn about this person when you look harder, because most people never do look harder.
And cut.
I've never had to play somebody, you know, a real person. And everything that I've ever seen on her is just the surface. And whenever she was photographed, you know, it was like these images of her with these big eyes, and it looked like she was trying to choke herself, and all she was trying to do was, you know, throw her hair back. Something so innocently turned so cruel and vicious looking.
So I'm gonna die.
I wanted to just get a sense, if anything, just a sense, an essence, a feel for what she must have gone through. I wanted to hear her voice.
Charlize and I read letters about a lot of the scenes that are in the film that nobody have ever read.
Patty corresponded with Dawn for a really long time, who was Eileen's high school friend from Michigan, and then wrote letters to her for 11 years while she was on death row every day. And Dawn was kind enough to invite us to her house and let us read these letters. And that was, I think, where I learned the most.
So what do you think of Charlize playing Eileen?
Pretty good. I feel much better that she read and got into her heart.
Everywhere she went, she was always prejudged. And from the time that she was arrested, nobody knew where this woman came from. And so Patty and I, we took this little road trip, and we got completely lost, trying to drive down to Daytona to see where, Eileen had spent some of her time.
This was literally walking into my movie. I walked into The Last Resort. I started talking to the people who were there. I walked into her apartment, into the bar. There it is, like where you've been living in your head, and there's no production design. You walk in. Yeah, here it is. This is Eileen's place. Here at The Last Resort.
Background and action!
She was just somebody that was
someone
here.
hanging out.
Yeah, another person that just, was hanging out at The Last Resort. Everybody's welcome here. That's what makes The Last Resort The Last Resort, because everybody is welcome
Because it
here.
is the last resort.
I attended bar here for about 8 years, and I was here when they arrested her.
And action!
More than anything, it was just about capturing truth. This kind of truth is very subtle truth. It's not backlot Florida. And so for me, it's such a hard thing to capture.
Cut! And that's good!
Often we're referencing the real story and Eileen and what we know about Eileen. And then in other places, we're referencing moments that none of us got to see.
It really took me some time to really get to know her. She really did come to me from the outside in, because I had all these images of her, of what she looked like, that they're very strong images. And to me, the makeup and the hair, it all is part of the recipe.
So this is the stuff that makes the skin look kind of nasty and
it
leathery.
texturizes it because the spine has texture, so it actually leaves a little bit of texture on the skin.
It makes it look kind of leathery and old.
This is a red tone, a rose adjuster tone we use for a lot of, capillaries and just flushness and weathered. It helps build up a little dimension on our face.
Capillaries, yeah. It's every actress's dream.
Really help dimensionalize your skin to look more translucent. This is a little bit of highlight to help try to emphasize some jowls.
Some jowls. Just a double chin,
All right, now we're going to go in with freckling, which is a teak color. The great thing about this solution is that you can have different levels of transparency or it be more opaque. So the first level, do a little bit more, mix a little bit more alcohol in, just to get a little bit more translucent freckle, and then go in with some deeper pigmented freckling to top it off. It's all about layers.
Here's the fun part.
So this is a gelatin latex. is to create a heavier eyelid and a few wrinkles so it drops. See? You can kind of, it texturizes it more and drops the lid down. Isn't that nice? We like that. This is to create a little bit, pore circulation. We haven't really done it all the way, but she was frostbitten on her hands at one point.
It has to.
It has to be, yeah, it can't be inside out or it'll feel like your eye is gonna cut. It's like,
You know, it all, to me, the makeup
does it feel okay?
and the hair and the wardrobe and learning to speak in her rhythms and her dialect and it all, all those tiny little things make up the big picture, and they all help me as an actor. Welcome to Eileen's world. To get to the place that I need to get to. And then it's just a question of, getting comfortable with it, because it was a huge transformation. You look good. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, guys, here we go for full rehearsal. Very quiet, please. Lock it up.
I've never had to play somebody, a real person. I knew I had a certain amount of rules that I had to play with or play by, and that's quite frightening.
And action.
The story by itself was a frightening one to tell, and I just knew that if I was going to say yes, I'd have to go all the way, 100%. And I've never been so scared in my entire life.
Let's shoot it.
Okay, here we go. Pictures up, guys.
Charlize, if you back up even a little more, I can see it in the mirror too. That's cool.
You don't even, I think after a while you don't think about it, you try not to think about it. It's almost like dancing. You don't go on stage thinking about the steps. You have to get to a place where it just kind of happens.
Because the hope that this human being had and the need for love, all of the hours you spend sitting and writing, trying to find that and put words on that, and it happens in a look. It happens in an expression.
She loved smiling, and she loved talking with her head. Her head was always part of the story. This is big. She just carried herself a certain way. There was something very, don't mess with me, and I can take care of myself.
Okay, here we go. First scene, please. Are you happy with the background?
Usually you show up and you have those 3 specific scenes. Those 3 scenes that will come up that are your hard scenes. And in this case, it was like every scene was that scene. It was like the marathon of hard scenes.
73 vacant and 3.
Space.
It's one thing to act the moment of a fictional character and say, wouldn't this be horrible? It's another thing to go through it and then to suddenly sink into this devastating reality.
Back! I'm sorry I let you down, okay? You fucking happy? Now you fucking know me. No, now you fucking know me, okay? Here I am, okay? Run like the fucking wind.
No, I don't want.
Run like the fucking wind!
No.
The fact that this happened to someone is such an emotional thing to actually embrace, which has to be done.
Speak.
And Parker?
There was many, many times where I had so many doubts.
And let's roll sound. Here we go.
We can be as different as we want, but I know that you can't kill people.
Says who? Says who? Selby, I'm good with the Lord. I'm fine with him.
I had so many fears, and and so many just moments of questioning everything.
We can be as different as we want, but we can't murder people.
Says who? Huh? Says who? Selby, I'm good with the Lord. I'm fine.
And you try as hard as you can, you know, to just hit that greater truth.
You can't kill people.
Says who?
All of a sudden, these moments would happen when Eileen Wuornos was looking out of the camera and this truth was flowing out of me that punched me in the stomach.
I'm good with the Lord. I'm fine with him.
Like the real story did, which took me to places I never expected.
The least you could do is hear me out.
It's just somewhat tricky material because if you don't, I think if I approached it in a different way where I really started forcing myself to go in a certain direction instead of just kind of letting everything happen.
Now, none of this is what you think it is, all right?
I know what it is.
Now, you don't know my life. You don't know the first thing.
I think I would have lost my mind.
They gotta tell you thou shalt not kill and all that fucking shit, but that's not the way the world works, man.
I try not to think about anything
Who knows
but,
what God wants?
you know, except to go and try and do the most truthful job I can possibly do.
I can be on this side.
Right?
Okay.
Lots of energy, guys. Background and action.
Yeah, you keep an eye out for her, you know?
It's a love story. It's not the diaries of a serial killer. It's really somebody's journey and finding light in the most, you know, in the darkest room you can possibly imagine. She found this little sliver of light and ran with it. Christina and I have been having a really good time because that really is the heart of the movie.
I think Selby's like these people that I've known in my life who really can't deal with anything. They're really weak human beings, and they want so badly for their lives to be better, but at the same time, they're not willing to be proactive to make their lives better. So it's interesting to play someone that I've always hated. My instincts are so different than what this character actually does.
I'm gonna talk to her.
Hey, you wanna ride the Ferris wheel?
No.
But it's interesting to have grown a sympathy for a certain personality type that I formerly couldn't feel any sympathy for.
And cut. Very nice. Christina is such an interesting person to work with because she's just amazing, but she would almost have you believe that she's totally calculating and detached.
I don't think I should have that much change because a little less. I realize after I start playing someone what I think of them and how they affect me, but beforehand I don't think about them at all. I'm much more technical than most people are. Like hitting a mark and knowing how to find my light, remembering my lines. Enunciation.
So she always kind of walks around in this sort of whatever happens, but then you see her go into a zone, and then all of a sudden, the most emotional thing you've ever seen will come out of her, and you're floored.
Jesus Christ, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck? Just drop the fucking light. I'll take you to a fucking doctor, okay?
There's always this edge and this something that makes it more than what it really is, and she's so capable of that. And she's so great because so few actresses have what she has, which is she's extremely vulnerable, but then at the same time she has this undeniable strength that just comes out of nowhere.
One of the things that Patty liked about me and why she cast me was that she saw in me this sort of thing that I don't think men see, but I think other women see, which is I'm very sort of childlike and also kind of naive in a certain way. Okay. And I think she picked up on that and has used it in the movie as a way to make the character less dislikable.
She works in this interesting way where she takes in a lot of information. She doesn't want to talk about things very much.
She tries to have conversations with me about that stuff, and I'm like, okay, I can't talk about it anymore. We have to leave.
I think it's so entertaining. Her like insistence that like there's nothing going on. Meanwhile, she's tremendous and everyone knows it.
I don't like emotion. I don't like talking about it. I don't want to talk about backstory.
Christ. She's hilarious all the time. Hilarious 2 seconds before you roll camera. It's just funny, 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 and the next thing camera rolls and she's just completely everything comes out of her and it's absolutely genuine, you know.
One thing I like about her as a director is that you know that she's not gonna let you off easy.
You realize the weight of this trial?
So if you're worried that you weren't really good in that last take, she's like, why would I not have made you go again if you sucked? And I'm like, okay, great. As long as that's the rule, we're fantastic.
I think Patty went to a place where very few writers would be willing to go or would be willing to go for a character. And you just know it when you read her material. You know that this woman went to where she had to go to really understand what Aileen Wuornos went through. And so few writers do that.
So release the bending over, go even lower.
It really moved me that she was so passionate about it, that she was willing to go where, you know, usually just actors go.
Okay, down again. Breathe through your nose. Try to get your shit together, breathing through your nose. And then when you look up, close your eyes and take it in. Okay, slide down a little bit onto the floor and do the same action. Here? Yeah. Okay, up again and stand with your hands on your knees away from the wall for a sec. Try it there. Yeah, right there. Okay, and action. And cut. Right.
As a director and a writer, she went all the way, completely fearless.
And cut. The greatest challenge was taking real facts, taking a real event, bringing to that as much beauty as you can. Try to make something artistic or powerful or emotional within real life.
Okay, good. I've never seen somebody who just, it's not even homework. It's just, it comes from such a deeper place. It comes from her, the bottom of her soul. She feels it and she knows it.
I wanted this to feel not terribly exciting, obviously. I mean, I want to really feel this tiny space in this, you know, and I know the wide angle lens. I just want to, I want it to feel, if we do dolly back, it needs to be incredibly slow and incredibly
You want to slow her down?
smooth.
Right, got it, okay.
As a writer, you take the character into yourself and it comes back out. And then as an actress, she's taken it in and taken it to another level, which you can only get so far writing, you know?
I couldn't have asked for a better partner. I've never communicated so much with a director either. I talked to her nonstop, and she provided me with so much material and so much information, not just on the facts, not just the greater truth, but just really, you know, things from the heart, from her soul. And you know, sometimes it had nothing to do with Aileen or the story, just about us and her and how she felt.
Everybody will need to clear back. Okay.
I can't tell you how helpful that was, because I can't imagine having to go into a project like this and not have not just the trust in the director, but mutual, you know, her trust in me, which she had from day one, and God knows why.
Okay, we need the rubber gun.
Rubber gun, please. Toe.
The real thing, because it's really heavy. We will need the real thing, right?
Yeah, that's how we can warm up to this. Okay, we need to rehearse with the real gun.
Okay. Guys, Toe, we want to rehearse with the real gun, please.
When somebody actually believes in you that much, how unbelievably fearless you'll become.
Guys, full weapon on set.
It gives you such courage.
Turn around!
Where she just never ever lost faith. She never once lost faith. And it's the greatest thing that you can ask for.
You just don't have to do it.
It's literally like she's channeling Eileen at moments, where suddenly this other, entirely different human being shows up on set. It rips a piece of their soul out to go to these places. It's not gestures and smiles. It's living. Joining forces together and saying together, we just have to say what we see. Like, we can't think about that. All I know is that this is the truth that we see. Just show what we see. And if it affected us when we saw it, that's the best we can do. I have no sense outside of that. And that's what this entire journey is about.
That's a wrap, guys. Thank you, everybody. Excellent day.
I've always tried to remain very respectful to knowing that I have to tell this as truthfully and as honestly as I can as an actor, but also as a human being.
When I was little, I had a lot of dreams. And I was always secretly looking for who was gonna discover me. Was it this guy? Or maybe this one? You never knew. I lived that way for a long, long time, dreaming like that. But one day it just stopped.
I'm kind of broke right now, so I'm just trying to make some cash somehow.
Well, maybe I can help you out.
By the time I met Selby Wall, all I wanted was a beer.
Can I buy you that drink?
I got my own money.
I'm just trying to talk to someone. Do you want to stay with me?
Who was that person?
She was just a friend I made.
I think she was a street person.
Hey, lady love, you need a ride?
Can I ask you a question? Are you a prostitute?
Hey, man, don't go too far.
I just want a little privacy.
30 straight up.
You girls, you know, I love them and I hate them.
Where'd you get this car?
I just borrowed it. Life is funny. It's also strange how things can be so different than you think.
You okay?
I got everything going for me. I'm not a bad person. I'm a real good person.
Police urge anyone with any information about these crimes to contact your local authorities.
We killed that man.
What do you think?
You're never gonna understand it, so you gotta trust me.
I got it under control, man.
She's all screwed up.
I was raped and BJ was gonna get killed.
You can't kill people.
Says who? He knew.
No.
Selby.
This is your deal. They're coming for us.
They got nothing. They're not even looking. There's a whole world of people killing and raping, but I am the only one killing them. People like me and you go down every day. The thing no one ever realized about me was that I could train myself into anything.
I knew that this score was going to be something that had to be invented on its own. It was something that had to be found. It wasn't something that people do. I knew that this was going to take looking at this world, looking at the music that we're using, and looking at the emotion. And the more I thought about it, the more I started to say, I'm sorry to say this. I know I'm a fan. People know that I'm a fan. I really think that BT's the only guy I think can do it. And it's because BT is so flexible, first of all, sophisticated, second of all, and has such an ability to look at what he's doing. Such a broad range of music, almost what surprised people when I said that I wanted was they associated BT with a certain kind of thing.
After I did Fast and Furious, I got asked to do anything that had wheels and moved quickly. You know, I was like, it's Fast and Furious on roller skates. It's Fast and Furious on jet skis. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I picked it up, you know, out of a stack of scripts and I read it on a plane, and I was moved beyond belief. The first time Patty and I got together, you know, she told me about, she augmented Eileen's story for me and told me some background details about her life, a really earnest and really truthful, powerful story, and it was something I really wanted to be involved in, and that I knew I could write some special music for.
I had been, I had always read a lot of true crime and noticed a lot of, different things. And when her story broke, I remember being very struck by it the first time I saw it on the news, particularly as it unfolded. First of all, it was such an interesting phenomenon that this hooker had turned and killed all of her Johns, but then, she was called the, lesbian, man-hating, all of these things, and very shortly, she was then convicted, and the news showed what is the last scene in the film, which is her crying as her girlfriend testified against her, and this phone conversation was played, and I was just always struck very hard by this confusion of what had led up to this story. And just that all of the words that she was this man-hating, vicious serial killer didn't make any sense in context with what I was seeing.
One of the most inspirational parts of the process to me was delving into the whole surround sound thing, because I don't think people really are writing in it for the most part. It's more of an afterthought. Designing the sound of this score, this score was conceived from the ground up in 5/1. And one of the most exciting things actually about recording some of the original template sessions was finding placements for the loops in a surround space to create this really immersive environment. I treated the space totally irreverently because, that's who I am as a person, basically. And I just got all punk rock on it, and said, hey, let's try some really interesting things. So in terms of placement, I do snare up, left channel, snare down, right channel, kit going to the sub, the tom mics in the back, the overheads to the sides. And so it's a very immersive sounding score, and it's a component of it that I'm really excited about.
Once we started working together, it was such a fascinating process. It's such a fascinatingly deep process. We were searching and feeling and finding, and meanwhile, BT was coming up with these amazing things like the hurdy-gurdy.
There was one instrumentalist called Ben Grossman, who I've since become really good friends with, and he was playing an instrument called the violon, which is also known as the hurdy-gurdy. It's a 15th century French instrument. And I heard the sound of this, and I was like, this guy has to play on the score for this film. And Ben became an extraordinarily important sound of the score. The hurdy-gurdy became almost a timbral theme throughout the film. The crux of it really became prepared and acoustic pianos, acoustic guitar, hurdy-gurdy, and some live bass drums and guitar that we recorded, but it makes for this really, really exotic, interesting sound that sounds harmonically like more traditional roots Americana type stuff. When you think of sort of like Copland-esque type things mixed with, Southern acoustic instrumentation, but then with this whole augmented, spectral element to it, by bringing something like the hurdy-gurdy in and just the amount of treatments that we did to that instrument. So it's a really interesting sounding score. We recorded all of the hurdy-gurdy here, and that was actually one of the most exciting parts of the process, was just having Ben here, working out tunings for his instrument, and then I'd write a melody or come up with a harmonic idea, and then just let Ben improvise. And he'd do these incredible extended improvisations for sometimes like 10, 15 minutes, And those became templates that I would always go back to and pull from, almost like sampling from, in order to keep some, timbral through lines through the film. So it has a sound to it, the whole film. The second John was actually a really interesting process working on that cue.
It was a challenge to do momentous music and not have it say, oh, she's going to shoot this guy.
Yeah.
Have the power and the drums speak to her tension of being there.
Right.
And then kind of level off. And then how that instrumentation built based on her reaction to what was happening. So it starts to amp up a little bit once he's offering her the money.
You think nobody'd ever talked dirty to you before?
Yeah, no, man. I just like to settle first, you know?
Call me daddy while I fuck you, huh?
Try. Why, you like to fuck your kids?
Once the, want to call me daddy part is gone.
Right.
And then when he says the thing about coming over here and it triggers something, that then the instrumentation then echoed back to the first murder. But then also as the drums dropped out, we got into her headspace.
Exactly.
And then that was the crescendo instead of the gunshot being the crescendo.
My gut reaction as a composer was to say the climax is the gunshot, and and it wasn't. It was like there were multiple climaxes in that piece of music, but I think the most important one was when we enter into her internal dialogue.
Yeah. So it's the fact that the crescendo's already happened and we're sliding downwards on the music, and the boom, gunshot happens and the guy's dying. And you're kind of like, whoa, like it really gave that feeling of, I'm not sure why I shot, instead of saying like, it all built up to I couldn't take it anymore and I shot him, instead it was like, I couldn't take it anymore, I'm sitting there, the next thing I knew, I'd shot him.
The hurdy-gurdy's played with a pumice wheel, and that bow articulation where he scrapes the pumice wheel against the melodic strings, that sounds similar to the Ponticello articulation on strings where they really dig in near the bridge. That sound became the sound of the murders. And so when we go into an internal dialogue, I brought that bow articulation on the hurdy-gurdy back, and then we have this string sweeping stuff. But it really was contrarian to where typically
Which we did all the time. I mean, so often, like your first pass or something, and my first thoughts and directions to you played out a little more overtly, as did everything in this whole film. And we had to sit there and figure out what it was, and get to a place where we were playing it in a slightly more sophisticated way,
Definitely.
and throw away things that were powerful,
What are you trying to say?
Just kidding. I could train myself into anything. People always look down their noses at hookers. Never give you a chance because they think you took the easy way out, when no one could imagine the willpower it took to do what we do.
Another interesting place was the Ferris wheel, because there's something by that point, you're hearing her talk in a voiceover. She's basically talking about murder and the fact that she's willing to do anything. And it's such an educated theme at that moment, and how powerful the feeling is. It's going against what you've just heard, and then you're seeing them together and she's overcoming fear. It became this third thing, which is this very educated, very sophisticated beauty that she's getting out of what she's willing to do.
You okay?
It's the thing about that piece of music too is it is sort of like an educated, beautiful piece of music, but it's also very simple melodically. And it's funny because that's the one piece of music for this film that was just literally instantaneous.
I know,
to me.
and interestingly also is definitely also a place where I look at it now, and I sort of, that is the creation, that scene, that the end result is something that I did not direct. It was some place that you all took it to another level.
The bus stop was another, that was probably the hugest moment to write to in the film. It's got the treated pianos, some of the melodic stuff from the Bad Cop, motifs, and then gets into actually one of the templates that I wrote for the score originally, you remember.
Yeah.
So it goes through this whole kind of evolutionary process, and then finally evolves and crescendos into the theme, you know, which is a very emotional moment where she's saying goodbye. Patty been talking to Steve Perry from Journey about, you know, I guess we had the song in the film already at that point. We had Don't Stop Believing in the film already.
Yes. Steve showed up to check out what we were doing and to help us mix the song in and everything.
Yeah, and then Steve sat with Brian Bowman, you know, our music editor, and was like, you need to put a version of the theme in the end, and ended up taking the theme and cutting it up to picture. So we got to give Steve Perry some props, because really, ultimately, like the initial template that I ended up writing to was what Steve and Brian cut to picture.
It ended up being a mixture of all of the moments that we all separately thought. Like a lot of those moments were not the moments that I realized were the most important.
Yeah, that's true too.
And there are all these different moments, some of which were mine, some of which were yours, some of which he had done in his template.
Yeah, like the gavel. The gavel was one that he picked that I don't think either one of us would have picked. Yeah.
Thank you, Judge. And may you rot in hell, sending a raped woman to death.
Patty kept talking about this scene needs to, musically, this scene needs to release us so we're able to walk away from this story. And so the final permutation of the theme, the crux of it that ended up, you know, being that score cue, really is a more, I don't want to use the word angsty, but it's a more distant perspective of the theme.
Love conquers all. Every cloud has a silver lining. Faith can move mountains. Love will always find a way. Everything happens for a reason. Where there's life, there's hope. Oh, well. They gotta tell you something.
The picture, for most people, is the focal point of a film, as well as the dialogue and the performances and all of that. And the job of the music is to augment emotionally what's happening in the film. And so it was really fun to work on this as a score album, because there was a lot of music that had reached sort of, you know, in terms of pieces, actual pieces of music, had reached maybe 80% of their potential. So in augmenting them for the score album, you know, I let them flourish when in the score we would have to keep them subdued at times, because it was, you know, tonally appropriate to the film. It was just really exciting, you know, to take those ideas and augment them and make them into completed pieces of music that are pieces of music independent of, yet related to the film, you know, was a really exciting part of the process.
I know how music makes me feel, but I don't know anything about how that music works. So BT's having to interpret what I'm feeling, and I'm sitting here, you know, trying to verbalize things, and BT saying, hang on, hang on, hang on, and then he plays something and I just sit down and start crying, you know, and I was like, I don't know what that was, but all right, you know? And so it's just this fascinating process for me to lay in the background of a room and watch somebody else bring something so beautiful and perfect to life in front of me that I have no understanding how it works, but I knew that it was right.
I always wanted to be in the movies. I thought one day I could be a big star.
You look good. Yeah.
I guess you could call me a real romantic.
Thanks.
So you came.
Yeah, I was around, you know, I thought I'd swing by.
Men must just line up to be with a girl like you.
I once heard this saying that's always stuck with me. All you need is love and to believe in yourself.
Hey, lady love, you need a ride?
It doesn't exactly work out that way. I mean, everybody's got to have faith in something.
I touch your face. You're just so pretty.
All I had left was love.
So what do we do now?
Whatever. 2 more. My girl's waiting over here. I got you now. I got everything going for me.
Life is funny.
You girls.
But it's also strange how things can be so different than you think.
You know what I always wanted to be? President of the United States.
You okay?
In my life, it's always been the harmless stuff that hurts the most.
So where you headed? We have to put the cigarette out. Let me have that.
You don't know me!
Whereas the thing's so horrible you can't even imagine it, it's usually a lot easier than you think.
Shelby, that girl belongs to a dead man. I know what I'm doing, and you're never gonna understand it, all right? So you gotta trust me.
You never really know until you're the one standing there.
You think nobody'd ever talked dirty to you before?
I just like to settle first, you know?
Me? Who killed that man?
What do you think?
You can't kill people.
Zazu! People kill each other every day.
I think that all these people just didn't know yet who I was gonna be. But one day, they'd all see.
Men have been shot to death in cold blood on Central Florida highways, including the busy tourist route of I-75. But this time, there's an even more chilling twist to the slayings. Police say for the first time in criminal history, these killers may be murdering with a feminine touch.
One of the most interesting things right off the bat about her story when it broke was how instantly demonized she was, and how you know, that title was just so commonly associated with her. Cold-blooded, serial killer, monster, she's a monster. And I thought that that was so interesting because they always said in the same stories, yes, you know, she's a prostitute, she's lived this horrible life, it's on record, she's been raped many times before, but she's a monster. And so what people were seeing of her was this explosive person who in the courtroom would be very volatile and very hostile. And she had clearly killed 7 people in cold blood. And I was just interested in not denying that and saying everything that you believe about Aileen Wuornos is true. You know, here's the monster. So come in and let's look at the monster, because I think it's endlessly interesting to look at what happens to those human beings that makes them get to where they get to. It was not easy at all to build bridges with her, and it never would have been. And she was an extremely damaged person. She was extremely mistrustful of the media, and didn't really like or trust anyone. I knew that would be the case even going in. So we had a very hot and cold relationship, and it was a hard thing to take on. And the first letter that I wrote to her, I knew that it would be what it was. And she would be very warm to me and intimate at moments, and then at moments she would recoil completely and say, I know you're going to screw me over. And she had the agenda of trying to get someone to do a movie about the police.
How do you feel, Aileen? Trust these crooked cops and their conspiracy, please. Are you afraid, Aileen? I'm innocent.
what was becoming very clear to me, and the more I got to know her, is it's interesting to watch someone descend into madness because they need to. She, in truth, suffered from a tremendous amount of guilt about what she'd done, and suffered a great deal of frustration at her inability to explain what had been done to her that resulted in her being able to do this to other people. That's a horrible place to live, in a room by yourself. It's why people escape into being drug addicts or alcoholics. And when you're in prison, you don't have that as an option. So the mind will escape, and it will find something else to busy itself with. And her need to find a way to blame the police for what had happened, I think, was the only way she could live with herself, she couldn't say, I shouldn't, she'd already said, I shouldn't have done this to herself a million times. At some point she needed to say, why didn't somebody stop me?
My only interview concerns are about cops letting me kill. So if you don't ask me about that, I'm going to cut this interview. Ask me about the cops.
What more is there to say about the cops? What more do you want to say about the cops?
A lot of stuff. Did you know that they were surveilling me before I killed? And then I knew it? And that it was covered up? Did you know there was helicopters dropping down from the sky, deputy sheriff, with decoys picking me up 4 or 5 months before my arrest? It was covered up.
Eileen's real interest was in getting even with what she called the crooked cops, and that was really her obsession. And I think she was very concerned that people weren't seen to be benefiting from her crimes, whether it was the police or whether it was her born-again Christian adoptive mother, Arlene Prawley, or whether it was the lawyers that she was with. And I think, in a way, she was very reluctant almost to cooperate with anyone because of that.
Eileen, after being very mistrustful and very uncertain, as I think she is in the film, she had, beneath all of that, this desperate hopefulness that one day something would work out. And the night before she was executed, when we had never had a chance to meet before she was executed, she decided hours before the execution to open up an archive of every letter she wrote for 12 years while on death row to her best friend. And she opened those up to our film. We were the first people to read them. So what went from being a difficult, process of getting to know her went to being this most intimate detail of this person in letters that she wrote that she never thought that anyone would read.
We started doing research and kind of took road trips together and went to places where Eileen lived and hung out and started reading these letters that Eileen wrote for the 12 years that she was on death row to a really good friend of hers in Michigan. And the more we got to know her emotionally, the more, for some reason, the physical stuff just seemed to happen.
Please. Victor Bourne, that was his name. My dad's friend. Some friend.
We just made a deal. We just said, we don't know what we're doing and we don't know how it will affect people. Let's just do it. Let's just do what we see, as complex as it can be, as complex as the details that we discovered about her. Even if we can't write an explanation into the script for why she flips her hair back, we understand why she flips her hair back. So let's just root everything and we'll see where we end up.
All of that stuff becomes a subconscious foundation almost, that you can rely on when you start shooting the film, because then things happen without you even knowing that they're happening. And a lot of times Patty would come up to me and go, you did this thing, do that again and take 3, and I'd be like, what did I do? And I think that's when it becomes the most kind of organic, and especially with a character like Eileen, it so easily can, I think, become robotic, like forced almost, because she's so animated as a human being that I knew that if I was just going to flick the hair every once in a while, it would just always be off, unless it came from a place of understanding why she's doing these things.
So when you leaving?
Tuesday. But I'm gonna be hanging out at the Moonlight probably around 5. Yeah, it's about 2 blocks up.
Yeah. Maybe I'll swing by.
No? All right.
All right.
I think it was a film that was careful not to judge Eileen. And I think that is a really refreshing change. I think it tried to get into the mind of Eileen and to understand how these murders had come to be. And I think it did that within the context of their relationship.
Okay. My last John, all right? I fucking killed my last John. I was raped and beat to fucked and was gonna get killed. But I didn't want to lose, you know? All I could think about was how for the rest of your fucking life you think I stood you up. And how you never know that I fucking meant to be there. And I didn't want to die thinking that maybe he could have loved me. So I killed him.
Well, the most important thing about the girlfriend's character is that in real life, she was much more sheltered than Eileen. She was repressed and very naive, but very willful. And so, again, particularly in her case, it wasn't about making someone look just like her real girlfriend. It was about capturing that essence. To put another actress next to Charlize and have her missing teeth and be fat, I just thought would be to push the audience too much away. I thought it would become too campy, even though that's the truth of it. So I made a decision, a very purposeful decision, to say, is it relevant what she looked like? It was more relevant to me for the person to appear more the way that she did in Eileen's eyes, as a cute, you know, attractive woman, which is what she was to Eileen.
So where's your friends?
Well, I'm not. You're mean.
Oh, man. Shit, I'm here too, you know?
The scene that I had seen on the news that made me initially linger on the story was what is the last scene in the film. Is her in a courtroom after being so explosive so many times and very, very hard, bursting into tears and sobbing as her girlfriend came and testified against her, and they played this tape recording of this very sweet voice of Eileen, which we had never heard, speaking so kindly to this girlfriend and realizing that she was being betrayed.
Honey, listen. Do what you gotta do, okay? I'm gonna have to because I'm like gonna go to jail for something that you did. This isn't fair. My family is a nervous wreck up there. My mom has been calling me all the time. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. Okay. Do what you gotta do, okay? Alrighty. What? I'm not gonna let you go to jail. I don't know whether I should keep on living or if I should... No, Ty, listen. What if they don't believe me? Tyra, listen. What? I'm not gonna let you go to jail or anything. Listen, if I have to confess, I will. Okay.
That was so paramount in what escalated these murders to happen. And so to me, the question was what happened that led up to it. And I finally found that I believed that we could tell the whole story really with just coming into that relationship that framed it. This was the year and a half that everything in her life collided. Her past abuse collided with her desperate need for love, and by the end of that year and a half sealed her fate forever.
So I killed him. I shot him, all right? I fucking shot him.
Patty's film went very much into the relationship between Tyria, otherwise known as Selby, and Eileen. And I think obviously that was what was great about the film. I think it would be very difficult to do that as a documentary, partly because the real Tyria doesn't want to talk about it at all.
And I've done everything in the whole wide world, hoping that you'd never have to know. So you could go on thinking that people are good and kind, and that should make sense, you know? Because I love that about you, Sal, but I can't.
No, I don't want to hear this, Lee.
But you need to.
We can be as different as we want to be, but you can't kill people.
Says who?
It was a period of time a documentary could never make a film about. And, you know, every documentary would talk about it very briefly, but these are all incommunicative people. Eileen was, her real girlfriend was, and obviously the victims are not with us anymore. So, enabled to go into that period of time and really examine what happened, I think it's actually best done by a narrative film.
By the time I met Selby Wall, shit, all I wanted was a beer.
I helped in that I was able to give Charlize my two films, Selling Vasurika and Life and Death of Vasurika, in which she could really study and see Eileen's facial expressions and how she looked when she loses her temper and how she looks when she's being funny, and her laugh and her lip movements and the way she moves her tongue, which are all very, very specific. But she really achieved that, and I was really impressed with it.
Really good.
I felt that it showed a range in Charlize's performance that I hadn't seen in her previous films.
I find it very rare that women get to play really conflicted, flawed characters. I think that those are usually the parts that De Niro gets to do, or Dustin Hoffman, and when they do it, it's accepted and it's almost cool. And you know, for some reason, when women do that, it's not encouraged because it's uncomfortable to watch.
All of the worst things about Perception have actually benefited this film. Odd, but true. You know, I think it only got made because people thought a lesbian serial killer story would be cool. It only had a lot of heat and interest because, oh, Charlize and Christine are going to play hot lesbians. And then it only got seen initially because Charlize got uglified.
On the night of the Oscars, there was very little discussion about Eileen and who she was. And I think maybe that's a function of fiction, which was that Charlize's performance was incredible. Charlize is a beautiful, very talented actress. Everyone's in a state of shock that she managed to make herself look like Eileen. And that's what they talk about. They don't really talk about who Eileen herself actually was so much, or her upbringing, or was justice seen and done. It's more this incredible performance, which is indeed true, but maybe that's just a function of fiction, which is it's one stage removed from reality, and it's very difficult sometimes to get the discussion back to that. But maybe that's totally fitting, that here's this very sad life, this person growing up in Troy, Michigan, a life of abuse and all the rest of it, who then ended up on Americans' highways and prostituting herself, who is kind of honored on her birthday, which occurs every leap year, by her life story receiving an Oscar. But it was totally fitting too that never actually got into any of the press. So I thought it was rather a sad occasion, actually. It made me rather angry.
Come back to me and come back. Okay.
This will all pass, you know? You go back home for a while, and then you come back here, and we go far, far away.
I think that the important thing is that it's very easy for us to demonize all kinds of people and to believe that there are people who are just evil. And we do it politically all the time, and we do it when we go to war with people and people of other religions. And I think it's important to realize that most people believe in what they're doing, and that they are pushed to desperate places often when they do things that are unthinkable. And if we simply divorce ourselves from them and say, that is not a life I can relate with, I think it makes it harder for people to bridge those things that make this possible. So in the broadest sense, that's how I feel. I think it's why we're endlessly curious as human beings of what these lives are that lead up to this kind of thing.
At 8 o'clock, time ticking away for serial killer Eileen Wuornos.
Her date with death set for about 90 minutes from now. 7's Patrick Frazier is live in Rayford as her sentence is about to be carried out. Good morning, Patrick.
Christine, in an hour and a half exactly, Eileen Wuornos will be injected with a poison. Within about 2 minutes, she will begin to stop breathing. Now, it's tough to say who will be happier that she is dying, the families of the victims she brutally murdered or Eileen Wuornos.
Here was a child at the age of 13 living in the woods, working as a prostitute, living in the woods in Michigan during the winter, which is like below freezing, who ends up with frostbite. And yet there didn't seem to be any social workers around who were aware of what was going on. There were no school truancy officers. And I think America is a country where there's less state intervention rather than more. I mean, the Bush thing is that there is this so-called thing of family in care now. But obviously if your family is abusing you and you're a truant and you're taking drugs and nothing's happening, the family is clearly incapable of taking care of itself. And I think it's just an excuse to avoid spending money, particularly on the sort of poorer sections of the community. I think that's what we learn from the story of Eileen Wuornos, that if you want a society to progress and mature and to become more civilized, you have to actually educate and spend the money to achieve that. And that tragically didn't happen in Eileen's case. And I don't think she's a particular misfit or freak. I think in many of those communities in Michigan and throughout the United States, between New York and Los Angeles, there are a lot of communities who, behind their kind of white picket fences, are essentially out of control.
What Eileen's story represented to me was it opens the idea that if we actually took the time to look at how these things happen, then maybe that way we can stop them. You know, because I think what we're doing now is just dealing with the consequences. And I think that there's actually a way to look at somebody like Eileen, who's not a solitary case. There's so many people out there who live these desperate lives and through their circumstances get to a place in their life where they're pushed in a corner and they make these really terrible decisions and they do horrible things. And that was kind of why I loved wanting to tell this story, because I think that if we can get to a place where we realize that the death penalty isn't working and come up with a different way of maybe stopping these things from happening, that could be better.
Oh, they gotta tell you something.
Eileen, let me ask you one question. Do you think if you hadn't had to leave your home and sleep in the cars, it would have worked out differently?
If I could do my life all over again, I came from a background of a family that was right on as far as my mom not dying, my dad not freaking out, and us. If I could do it all over again, my family died too young. I had to hit the road. And I came from a family that was supportive. We didn't have split sister, half sister and brother stuff and all that. It was all true blood, real blood, and everything was financially stable, and everybody was really tight. I would have became more than likely an outstanding citizen of America who would have either been an archaeologist, a paramedic, a police officer, a fire department gal, or an undercover worker for DEA, or did I say archaeology? Or a missionary.
I've always moved too fast in love, but the day I met Selby, I'd spend most of the afternoon sitting in the rain about to kill myself. So you can understand I wasn't feeling particularly cautious. The guy had been killing hookers all over the state of Florida, and when I woke up finding myself secretly hoping that he would find me, I knew I had nothing more to lose. Everybody's got faith in something. For me, all I had left was love. So when my boyfriend took off and stole all my pressure cleaning equipment, something finally broke. I'd spent 2 years saving up for that stuff, so when he left, I was pretty sure I'd never love a man again. And without love, without even a hope of it, what's the point? I mean, even a bum on the street is looking for something. Alcohol, drugs, something. So I was gonna do it. And the only reason I didn't was a $5 bill. I kept feeling it in my pocket and it was bugging me. I knew I'd probably given some asshole a blowjob for it. So it really started to piss me off that if I killed myself without spending it, well, then I basically sucked him off for free.
Honey?
So I made a deal. I said, God, you've done this to me and I don't know why.
Honey?
Now I'm going into town to spend this $5, but when it's gone, so am I. So if you've got something for me in this world, you better bring it on. And sure enough, there she was.
Honey, aren't you coming to bed?
In a minute.
Selby, honey.
All right. We're gonna have a drink, and we're gonna just forget about all of this, all right? Come on, cheers.
Lee, this isn't funny.
You don't know what's going on, Sal. I do. So if you want to keep your eyes shut to the whole world, then the least you can do is hear me out. None of this is what you think it is, all right?
I know what it is.
No, you don't know my life, Selby. But I know yours. And I've done everything in the whole wide world, hoping that you'd never have to know. So you could go on thinking that people are good and kind, and that should make sense, you know? Because I love that about you, Sal. But I can't.
No, I don't want to hear this, Lee.
I know. But you need to.
We can be as different as we want to be, but you can't kill people.
Says who? I'm good with the Lord. I'm fine with him. And I know how you were raised. All right, and I know how people fucking think out there, and fuck, it's gotta be that way. They gotta tell you that thou shalt not kill shit and all of that. But that's not the way the world works, Selby, because I'm out there every fucking day living it. Who the fuck knows what God wants? I mean, think about it. Who wrote the Bible, huh? Fucking people. What the fuck did they know? People kill each other every day. And for what? For politics, for religion, and they're heroes. No, there's a lot of shit I can't do anymore, but killing's not one of them, and letting those fucking bastards out there go and rape somebody else isn't either.
No, Lee, that was one man. How many?
A lot. There's a whole world of people out there killing and raping, Selby, but I am the only one killing them. Me. They're just killing us wholesale. Look at me, Sal. You know me. You do. You think I could do it otherwise? I'm not a bad person. I'm a real good person, right? I'm sorry for all of this, but I didn't ask for it.
I'd be dead right now. What am I supposed to do with that? Huh? If I hadn't killed somebody, I'd be dead. But I wanted to live. Don't feel bad. It's life, Sal. People like me and you go down every fucking day. But not us. 'Cause this is my fucking world now. Hey, and it's almost over, you know? I mean, shit, look at this. This is everything. Everything you ever wanted. Look, just a little more. Car, we're out of here. We have a shot, Sal. We have a shot at a real life. Not this, a real one. I don't know, Sal, but you know, that right there, that right there is almost enough for a whole new pressure cleaning unit, man. And then I'm making money, hand over fist, self-employed, no more bullshit. And you can drink margaritas on the beach all day if you want, you know? Or you can listen to the world out there. And not me. And you can go. Okay.
How do you do it?
I don't know, it's nothing. Just pull it out, say, "Welcome to my world, motherfucker." And you pull the trigger. Down they go. Shaking around. Panic. Begging. And then they're gone. It's easy.
I'm really starting to lose it.
Agreed it could have been worse. Authorities have released the identity of a man found murdered earlier this week. 58-year-old
Pig.
Will Boozer.
Check it out, I look like a little
His vehicle
pig.
was found by highway patrol officers this evening.
We are pursuing any eyewitness accounts of the vehicle in this injury.
The front running. We don't have anything.
We don't have anything at this time.
In sports, the National Hockey League features.
Very quiet, please. Set. And action.
Well, I don't have any experience per se, but I'm a real hard worker. I mean, you know, there's nothing I won't do. And you don't have to worry about me, because I learn real fast. I mean, you tell me once, it's gonna stick, you know? Yeah, yeah, none of that stuff's gonna be a problem, I don't think, you know? I think you should also know that when I came out here, all I wanted to do was do something like this. So this is really like, this is amazing, you know, that I could actually sit here with you. And can I just say that, you know, computers are real cool, you know, and I think that what you're doing is amazing, because I do believe that, you know, with computers, we're gonna find a lot of answers, you know. It's gonna solve a lot of problems, I think, you know. You know, you find so many things on the computer, and things that we don't know, you know. And I knew a guy once who had a computer, yeah, and he told me a lot, you know, so I learned a lot about that. And, you know, when I used to have my own business, yeah, I had my own business, and yeah, that was it went real well. And I worked with people, you know, one-on-one a lot in that. And you should know that I've worked with people all my life. So I'm real good with people. I know how to work a Rolodex real well. And
And you know, you should also just know that 9 to 5 means nothing to me. I mean, I'll be here day in, day night. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, I'm here for you. I'll be here 7-Eleven, like, I mean, 7/24, like all the time. You know, I'll live here. You have a real nice office. Can I just say that? You're all set. It's almost direct, so you're gonna get in tomorrow, all right? Remember how I said I was gonna take you to the bus, buy you that ticket, huh?
Yeah, I wanted to go. I wanted to tell you that. That I love you, you know. And you were. You know, you were the first and only person who knew me real close. And didn't think I was bad or. You know. Maybe I fucked up a little bit, you know? I know I did. I didn't fuck up. But maybe if I just get a little then you can help me. You can help me, because if you can forgive me for. Because I don't know if I can forgive myself for my, you know, for this, all this. Lee. Lee. There's gotta be We have a good plan here, you know, Sal. Yeah, it's good, you know. You go back home for a while and this will all pass, you know. And then you come back here and we go far, far away. Come on. No, Leah, I want it. Take it.
come back, we'll spin it. I don't know what else to do. Come on. Oh.